Good evening, everybody, and good afternoon. How are y'all doing? Welcome to the show. And I know today's show is going to be very interesting. Hopefully, it won't be too long, but some of you may be wondering why I chose this particular title. And simply put, I call it a very triggering question that hopefully we may find the answer today. So, before we can get into the show, I would like to welcome any everybody who's gonna be coming into the building. Some of you gonna be late, but first, as you already know, for those of you watching my YouTube channel at this moment, if you are brand new to my channel, please make sure to like and subscribe so you may stay update to my notification and ring that bell so you can get annoyed and share this topic. I know it's how should I put this? I'm gonna bring a little bit of fire today, but we're gonna do it today. We will. Now, some of you may be wondering, you like, oh man, this sounds kind of crazy. Why would fasting is life pick this topic? What's going on, right? So the focus of today's show it's gonna be from both mainstream perspective and a religious perspective. First, right? Let me show you some pictures that can get you a little bit, you know. This is the topic of marriage. You know, you see the wedding ring. It says marriage license. Some of you out there listening, you know this process. You went through there, right? Here's another picture, right? But I like this one. You know, silver. It's very shiny. I hope you know I hope this ring was what $5 each, but you already know I doubt it, because it really looks very bright and beautiful, smooth, no scratch or anything. So the polishment on this ring looks like the couple, well, the man had to cough up a lot of money, This is another, parenthesis, he had to trick big time, right? And then, there you go, coming together, you know. Oh, look, he got me a ring. Oh my God, we're gonna get married. Oh, congratulations. So, the, how should I put this? It's easier to follow the crowd and do what everybody does. But when you start to ask questions, this is where the quote unquote danger comes in. Why? Because you're starting to go against the current. We live in a world and society that you are born and you get the education of your parents on things you can and can't do, and then as you get older, society, your education tells you what you can do, and then come religion, right? But then when you start asking questions, that's when you start wondering, be like, wait a minute, why are you questioning what's already in motion? You don't know anything, right? So brace yourself, brothers and sisters. We're gonna get into this. It's gonna be hot. But I'm trying my best to keep it very short so I can allow a panel for a few minutes because I know a lot of you are gonna have a lot of questions. So let's see. I see we got some people in the building. Shout out to you, Batman Beyond. Welcome back. I hope you're enjoying your weekend. D Rock, salute, salute. All right. Yes, I will have an open panel, and basically after I finish with the crazy topic, then I'll open the panel. So I'll try my best to keep it within 30 minutes, but I have to go to a lot of records because I'm gonna use reference articles, and as you saw earlier, I'm gonna use Wikipedia too. But for the moment, let us go to the answering this question that I have for you. Is marriage satanic and evil? That is the question I want you to have in your mind. So let's break it down. What is marriage? I'm going to read to you the definition from the internet, right? Based on the records that we have. And what does it say? Marriage, the first definition. And pay attention because, like I say, we will see. It says noun, to legally or formally recognize union. Keyword, right? Union of two people as partners in a personal relationship, parentheses, historically and in some jurisdictions, specifically, a union between a man and a woman. This is from the dictionary, right? I know. I'm not looking at the chat right now, but I know you are really, you guys, y'all, oh, the black fasting, don't go there. Don't go there. Back up, back up. Let me repeat. This is the dictionary. It says historically, right? And in some jurisdictions, specifically, a union between a man and a woman. That is the first definition. Keep that in mind. Second, it says marriage is the state of being married. And when you break down the word marry, right? It comes from Old French. It comes from Latin, maritus, and then Old French marier, which means marry, and also husband, mari. Like uh, for those of us who speak French. So when he says in French, when he say your husband, he says your mari, your ton mari, ton mari, sorry, mari, and it says joint in marriage. That's the definition of to marry, right? It's a verb to marry. To take someone as one's wife or husband in marriage. Enter into marriage. Become a member of a family by marriage. Of a parent or guardian, give in marriage, or say give a son in marriage. Second definition, it says cause to meet or fit together, combine. And they give an example that says the show marries poetry with art. So it's a union, or it's a blend. Now, to solidify, as we're looking at the definition of marriage, the second definition, it says a combination or mixture of two or more elements. Of two or more elements. Now, biblically, marriage, what we call the blending, right? The union. According to the Bible, it was first introduced when the Most High already created man, right? The man, but man was by himself. He had no mates. Then in Genesis 6, it says in chapter 2, verse 18, and he says, I'm reading to King James. He says, and the Lord God said, it is not good that the man should be alone. I will make him and help meet for him. keyword and help meet, right? And then when you follow up, because that was the plan that they had, right? And he says in verse 22, and the rib which the Lord God has taken from him, made he a woman. So here the Bible is showing you the first surgery. And if you if you want to look at it, it's what do science are calling it right now? Where you take a piece of DNA from something and then you make something out of it. If you look at this process, that's another way where a woman was made. This is according to the biblical records, right? Because I know I have viewers who probably do not believe the Bible, but I'm starting here because that's where my mind is most of the time, right? Don't worry for the pagans. I'm gonna get into your part. Don't worry, I got you covered. Now look, it says, made he a woman and brought her unto the man. And Adam said, this is now bones of my bones and flesh of my flesh. She shall be called woman because she was taken out of man. Therefore, shall a man leave his father and his mother, and shall cleave unto his wife, and they shall be one flesh. Now, this is the story or the background of the original man and woman. So, the question I'm going to ask you this: in this moment, is there any mention of what I'll put marriage as people look at it today? But it does talk about what the word marriage describes, the union, right? The union of two people coming together. And then as you go on, it gives you the purpose of marriage. The first one, it says the woman is supposed to be, was made from man, was part of him, to be his helpmeet. So right there in the Bible, it's telling you the purpose of marriage. It's for the man having a helper. And you could look at it in another way as an employee, somebody who's working for your benefit. Notice he didn't say, he said, I'll find him someone he can help. No, he says a helpmeet, someone who's gonna meet your expectation, someone who's gonna help you, right? So far so good, right? But then something happened. According to the scriptures, chaos came to be where everything changed. And as you go on into the scriptures, man, was it the species or what you call mankind began to increase. Society began to grow. Governments were established, religious establishment. So everybody in whatever particular place they were, they had to develop their own system, right? Now, if you look at most of the rituals when it comes to marriage, it 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 has evolved, but there's a lot of ancient practices in it, right? But if you notice, even right now today, you have different cultures where they're practicing similitude of what you call marriage. And for those of us who are living in America, you already know if they have to make a quote unquote dictionary in the coming days, that definition of marriage will have to change because this society has changed. So when I ask the question, I say, is marriage satanic and evil? The question is, what kind of marriage are you referring to? Because there's nothing wrong with union with two people, right? Coming together in partnership. But then the question is that union evil and satanic? So that means there's a category. Hmm. Now, I know you guys are probably tired of looking at that ring, right? Now, Let me go to the next. I'll show you this article. Now, when you look at modern marriages, right, what is something symbolic that refers to a union, right? When you're talking to somebody, you meet people. What is a sign that will represent in our modern time that two people quote unquote united or in partnership in marriage? The ring, right? Wedding rings, like this one right here, right? So the question is, what is the origin of this practice? Because if you, for those who claim to be Christians, right? I don't see when I read Genesis or when I read in the patriarchs, there is no mention of exchanging of vows, of rings, you know, as people express it today. If you actually take time to read in the Bible, the way it describes marriage, marriage was basically a contract between two families coming together. That was the culture. Now, when I say the culture, I'm referring to biblical culture according to the ancestors of whom they're referred to as the Israelites. Like I say, the numbers of people grew in number and everybody had their own cultures and customs. So you had, people who live what you would call today Iraq, they had their customs. People who live today where you call India, they had their own customs. People who live in Ethiopia, they had their own customs. People who live in Libya, they had their own customs. So every nation had their own customs. They had marriage, but not everybody was doing it the same. Right? Now, I'm about to show you because we're trying to answer the question, is marriage satanic and evil? I'm about to show you the origin of the symbol of the wedding ring. Now, people will say, well, are you trying to imply that rings are evil? I'm like, no, a ring is a ring, right? It's made of metal. Is metal evil? No. But like I say, everything you must understand its meaning. Are you wearing the ring because you like jewelry, or are you wearing it under a specific ceremony, right? Everything has a purpose. Everything has a meaning. And you must understand what you're dealing with. You can't just be blindly doing things just because everybody's doing it. It's the accepted thing. Just because it's accepted doesn't mean you have to do it. And it works both ways too, right? But as a person, you have full rights to understand what you're dealing with and make a decision, right? So that you can come and be like, you know what? I never knew or I was ignorant. Now, let me show you this one picture and kind of give you a clue of what the symbolism of the ring represents when it comes under the marriage ceremony. Look at this. You see this? It's a serpent swallowing itself, swallowing its tail. And they call this the eternal ring. And I'm about to read it. Hold on a second. Let me go to Wikipedia. And anybody who is here right now, thank you for stopping by. For those of you looking at this article, let me ask you this one question. Did you know about this thing? Have you heard of this word Ouroboros before this stream? If you did, please press 1. And if you never heard of this before, please press 2. Right? This is just, I would love to check back on the chat and see who heard of this before. You probably did watch some movies, Hollywood movies, and it mentioned it. Now, let me, because I know trying to read the whole thing, it's going to take too much time. So let me just read the brief definition. It says the Ouroboros or Ouroboros is an ancient symbol depicting a serpent or dragon eating its own tail. Originating in ancient Egypt iconography, the Ouroboros enter Western tradition via Greek magical tradition. Huh. Stop. Guys, did you hear that? The Ouroboros, the symbol of the ring, enter Western tradition via Greek magical tradition and was adopted as a symbol a Gnosticism and Hermeticism. Hermit from the god Hermes. Well, it's also a name of an individual, and most notably in alchemy. Now, I know a lot of you, my followers, y'all are smart people. Are you liking the sound so far of what this symbol is? Trying to answer this question, is marriage satanic and evil? Is this somehow kind of like making you think of be like, wait, what? Like I said earlier, if you're listening to me, I said the term marriage in itself, right? It says a union. Now and then I asked, I say, well, what kind of marriage is satanic or evil? Because the word marriage just means union. So the question is, what union is satanic and evil? Mhm. And it says the term derives from ancient Greek or Boers, from upa, ura, uratel, plus bopos or boros, eating, tail eating. It says the Ouroboros is often interpreted as a symbol for eternal cyclic renewal of a cycle of life, death, and rebirth. So, like I said, everything has a symbol. So, some people say, well, this actually refers to because a marriage is what it's a it's a contract between a man and woman, and you're supposed to be like that. What till what's it saying? Till death do us apart, right? Till death do us apart. People repeat it, but guess what? What does society show us? Do people really keep that binding or that Ouroboros contract till death? Or they just there reciting like a parrot, saying it just just to please everybody, and then they don't really mean it, right? But they still do it. So just because you don't really take to heart what you are participating doesn't mean it negates its ancient meaning and current meaning, because deception can hide itself in many forms. Now you say, oh, why are you showing us this whole ancient thing and stuff like that? Because I'm taking you way back, and as I showed you earlier, the whole symbol of the ring is based on what? Witchcraft. Alchemy is witchcraft. Magic is witchcraft. So you'd be like, wait, that don't make no sense, right? I thought religion is all about, eternal things and all that stuff, right? Let me show you another symbol of this Ouroboros. What do you see? Same symbol, right? How about this? You like that? Hold on, here's one more. This one still representing the same symbol. And if you can see, y'all know the symbol of the nuclear plant, right? The nuclear plant. There's also another symbol. What is it? Yeah, I think nuclear plant. There's another symbol. I forgot what it's called, but you guys get what I'm trying to imply, right? Now, let me read you as we're still in the marriage thing. Let me go to. I have a tag of. Guess what, guys? Jewelry website, jewelry companies, and they actually on their websites they have the history of the whole thing about the ring. And I'm on this one website from New Zealand, right? They had a whole page dedicated on the history of the rings, and they make sure you can once you understand the tradition, which I doubt most people actually read this anyway. You're gonna be like, oh, make sure you get our carrots ring, for your beautiful, sexy lady. That diamond, shine, bright like the diamond. Make sure you buy the most expensive one because she won't love you if it's not expensive. If it's not shiny, you know, it's no good. Now, let me read you a paragraph where it says, hmm, however, unlike the Egyptians, where the ring was the symbol of love, it is believed the Romans viewed these bands as symbols of possession. Roman men will claim their woman with the giving of the ring, placed on the left hand, which was considered the weakest side of the body, and symbolized the submission of the woman to the man. This tradition is kind of reminiscent of prehistoric cavemen. I'm not descendant of cavemen, just to point that out. That's not me. My ancestors never lived in caves. Who tie cords of braided grass around his chosen mate's wrists, ankles, and waist. It is thought that they believe this brought her spirit under control. Wait, what? Wait, come again, sir. What did you just read? The Romans, right, believed, right, tying cords of braided grass around the mate's wrists, ankles, and waist brought her or bought her, like purchase, bought her spirit under his control. Even though the Romans lacked, what was it? The Romans' lack of romanticism seems a part in these earlier times eventually betrothal rings were made from iron and called annulus pronubis. These rings symbolized strength and permanence and show maybe they developed a softer, more romantic notion of the idea of marriage. The reason why I'm going to different records and history of marriage, I'm trying to lead you somewhere because we have some people who look at marriage as it's not important to them. They'll find someone that a helpmeet. They come to an agreement and they settle down. Some people they'll keep the old custom of meeting the family, the parents, introduce themselves, pay dowry, and you know the family, both of them officially, uh, basically make the marriage, the union official. But then you look for us living in the West, there are many kind of marriage. You have in Canada, it's a mess over there. But here, marriage was a union between a man and woman back in 2015. The government, the Supreme Court, the highest office in when it comes to laws, decided that they say no. People who practice same-sex, you know, lifestyles, they too can practice this ritual and be accepted according to the government. And then you have it also involved with religious ceremonies that basically come in agreement. Now, I'll put it this way: there are many forms of marriage. Which one do you want to do? And do you understand what you're getting into? Because you have to remember the purpose of marriage certificate. Why? It's not just you and your mates who are uniting. You're uniting with the legal system, with the government, the family. Your family and your mate's family are not even involved, right? So I've seen weddings where you have like they'll do like the ceremony, the party. The couple will come together. The priest or whatever will bless the wedding, the exchange rings, do all that stuff, and then they'll be like, okay, before you guys can get on the dance floor, in front of everybody, you get to what? Sign the marriage license, marriage certificate. And then you ask yourself, well, is this a certificate for the church? No, it's for the government because the system that's in place, that society is set up, in order for you to be recognized as married, you have to what? Engage into the legal registration. That's so I'm kind of leading you somewhere because it's like biblically wise, the purpose of marriage has gone way left, way left, thousands of years later, right? But then you have also to remember there are many cultures that have many customs. So when I ask, I say, is marriage satanic and evil? That is, from the biblical perspective, the way marriage is now, and especially even people who claim to be followers of the Bible and they practice Christianity, if they were to be judged based on the concept of the Bible, they're not even doing what the Bible says. No way, no how. Why? Because you take the Bible, right? There are certain rules when it comes to the law of marriage. Are you meeting the father of your bride or of your future bride and paying dowry? Depends on where you are. Some customs, like I say, certain customs they keep one thing, they have something right, and then they have something different. And also, when you make the vows, do you understand the importance and the consequences of making those vows? Because I mentioned earlier, in marriage, when you put all the emotions aside, was a contract because the woman is supposed to be your helpmeet. The society have changed and put laws, and I just showed you earlier that the Romans they introduced the practice of the whole ring and all that stuff as a way to symbol is the woman was your property and you're buying her soul, like that basically you it's like a spell to pull it under your control, right? So you'll be like, oh, what the hell, what's going on? All I did is I was just showing you the history of where marriage, depending on the culture, was. The reason why I prefer to stick to the Bible because the Bible makes it way simple and there is no what shall I put? There is no capitalism involved. Why? Because if you look at it as of right now, marriage it's a big business, especially in the Western world. I know worldwide, yes, because let's put it this way: if marriage was reduced of two families coming together, the man presenting himself to the family, say, "I'm interested in your daughter. Uh, I wanna, I wanna receive her for marriage. What do I need to do? What do I need to show myself worthy?" And the father has to decide, okay, let me learn more about you and all that stuff. Imagine that happening, especially in our society. And not only that, imagine marriage being, you guys have to party first, and then you and your mate, you go into the chamber while everybody's outside. You go into the chamber that they reserve, and they lay down a white sheet where you and your mate go and have, you consummate the marriage for the first time. And the was it the drop, the red drop falls on the sheet to show to the people that this woman has not been touched, and everybody celebrate. Yeah, yeah, right. Would you want that? Oh, would you want where you have to stay involved? You gotta sign paperwork. People don't keep their vows. There is no uh reconciliation and all this. Basically, it's there is no order, right? Because anybody can just wake up one day and say, "Oh, you know what? Okay, it's over." Okay, so when I say it's satanic evil, it's like if the purpose of marriage was a union or two people coming together for a purpose, and mainly, right, biblically, to a woman coming to help the man. Because if you look at it, fathers raise their daughters, and the man basically becomes the father of that daughter. Why? Because the father is, oh, well, uh, I'm giving you away. So you basically, I'm passing the baton to you. Now, this is gonna get more adulty. Brothers, what do you think when it comes to mating and what's it? Romance? Why women call their lovers daddy, in many languages, papi. You see how you see how everything now you see how everything started to make sense. So even in people's ignorance, in a way, they understand. Because look at what a husband has to do, right? He has to take care of his wife, he has to provide, he has to uh when they bring children, the woman is helping him raise them. So when you look at marriage the good way, not the evil and satanic way, the man is the cornerstone. Everything is about him. That's it. If because I gave you certain history, like I mentioned, the origin and all that stuff. But if you break it down, the simplest way, marriage was supposed to be about the man for his profit. Everything is about him. Why? Because he's the boss. And the wife and bride is supposed to be his helpmeet. Because of that dynamic, that's it's supposed to flow. The energy, the balance is gonna flow. Why? Because everything falls in its place, in order, in its position. And here's another when I talk about words. A man doesn't get married. A man marries. A woman gets married. She doesn't marry. Do you guys get it? Do you guys get it? It's the man who's he's grabbing. So he's the one doing the marrying. The man is the giver, the woman is the receiver. Why people say, oh, why if things are not going as it was years ago? Why everything is, why? Because, like I said, when something is has built foundation on chaos and disorder, it never goes well in the end. It never goes well. I always put it this way: mankind, society, they love making things that are sane, logical, simple. They love making it complicated. Because any logical man, when they look at the purpose of marriage in its simplest form, they'll be like, oh, okay, this is something I will do. It's very simple and all that stuff. But why it doesn't seem that way when you put it into application? Because you have to look at the foundation of what you call quote unquote marriage in whatever society you are in. And now, like I say, when you have people who live a certain lifestyle, right? Like people who are in the LGBT community do this, right? Society is allowing it. So it's like, what is marriage really? Because if it's the union, right? And remember, one definition says it's the combination of two or more elements. But then when it comes to the purpose of marriage, when it comes to man and woman, it says historically and specifically was between a man and woman. Now, if it change, right, that means anything goes. Somebody can marry their dog. Somebody can marry, like, they can call anything marriage. You can call anything marriage now, if you want to look at it that way. So when I say is marriage satanic and evil, I tell it that way because why? Because I wanted something that will click and maybe trigger certain people. Be like, what kind of question is that? Some people may be like, oh, what is the question? Certain questions may not have an answer. Why? Because you have to find the answer for yourself. I have my answer and I'm keeping it to myself. All I'm just trying to show, I try to show you is biblically perspective, what was the origin of marriage? And I show you from the other side, depending on different culture, most culture recognize, even biblically, that marriage was actually a purchase. But when it comes to what's attached to what you call marriage, the ceremony, the whole thing about the rings and all that stuff, I showed you that all these things that you see, especially in the West, I mean, it's everywhere, but here in the West, it's more exalted because in most cultures, what they do is they combine both, right? They combine their customs and Western. But here in the West, it's mostly just that. I'll say close to 100% of all those things are based in witchcraft, in magic, alchemy. And then some people say, well, those things are just made things that don't exist. Magic doesn't exist. Spirituality, all that. Again, the question is you have to ask yourself: if those things that it does mumbo jumbo doesn't exist. Look at society today. Look at dysfunction of family today. If the purpose was to be a helpmate, won't shouldn't every family who are quote unquote founded under that union be fruitful? If that is what its purpose to be. Also, then again, you have to think about it too. Marriage also was set up in many society as a way of population control. right? Because if the wealthy only had access to finding a mate, because remember, yes, it's a union of two people, but I'll give you another example. It could be more. So if you had a culture where somebody could have more than multiple wives, then certain men who could not achieve the purchase or the dowry, they would be left out. So people in those society had to come up with some ways where it will benefit the whole. And if you think about it, right, the only people, let's say monogamy, meaning having only one partner. Imagine a society where monogamous marriage were allowed, but then if you have money, if you have wealth, you were allowed to do you to have more than like you were allowed to have multiple wives. So imagine a society where there was no regulation that where you could be, oh, if every rich person, well, okay, I can afford to have 20 wives, 30, 50, whatever, just go wild. But then the ones who couldn't afford, they were left out. No, none of those families will be like, hey, I don't want to marry my daughter to this guy. He has nothing. Hey, you know what? I'll suck it up. I know this guy already has 45 wives, and my daughter, I love her dearly, but you know, I want some of that dowry cash. I'll give her to the highest bidder, simply put. And that's why sometimes when I say certain comment, people get triggered. And I want to say that marriage is actually a transaction. It's a purchase, if you want to put it literally, right? So some people are like, well, that's evil. So that's why I phrase my question this way: is marriage satanic and evil? That question is something you need to think about. And the reason why I say it's something to think about, you have to understand what you're about to do. You have to know what you are doing. You have to be aware, right? Now, I've met people who engage in marriage who never done anything when it comes to how society describes what you call marriage. They never done it. They did it their own way, right? And everything is smooth and all that. Yes, of course, you have marital problems and all that stuff. But I'm saying they chose not to engage into something they realize they don't agree with. They understood what it was. They say, I decided not to engage with it. So from people outside of the bill, well, what they have done, is it satanic and evil, or is it good and righteous? That is a question that, hey, you have to answer for yourself. I just ask questions. So, in conclusion, I've shown you the definition of marriage according to the dictionary, and I showed you the symbolism of the ring when it comes to marriage ceremony. Not to say that rings are evil. I repeat, I'm not saying rings are evil, but I'm saying the foundation of exchanging ring under the idea of marriage is, for those who are Christian, it's not biblical. It has pagan origins, and its foundation is in magic, witchcraft, voodoo, whatever you call it, right? And also, before I open the panel for those who want to jump in, for all the people out there, engagement ring. See, it all comes down to what I mentioned earlier: capitalism, money. You don't have to do all this stuff. That's the whole purpose. Let me show you the definition. It says engagement ring. An engagement ring is a ring indicating that a person wearing it is engaged to be married, especially in Western cultures. A ring is presented as an engagement gift by a partner to their prospective spouse when they propose marriage or directly after a marriage proposal is accepted. It represents a formal agreement to future marriage. In Western countries, engagement rings are worn mostly by women, and rings can be feature diamond and all the gemstones. And it says in Anglo-Saxon countries, the ring is customarily worn on the left hand ring finger, but customs may considerably but customs vary considerably elsewhere across the world, like I mentioned earlier. So guess what? Engagement rings, it's a modern thing. It's a modern thing. It didn't really exist. So at the end of the day, it just goes to show you that some of the customs were brought in, they're modern, they were mixed apart. But the main thing of all of it, it's about money. That's what I say. If you want to look at it in the simplest form, marriage was basically two families coming together, and the man sees a potential in a woman that he wants to make his wife to be his helpmeet, and the family of the woman agrees to sell her, quote unquote, give her into marriage, and the father will require a symbol to be like, hey, I promise to take care of my child. Maybe in the future I'll have another stream when it comes to this particular subject, but I think I've said enough. When it comes to this question, is marriage satanic and evil? I would say you decide. So I will open the panel where now I've hit the was it 52 mark. So hey, I didn't talk for over an hour like usual. So this was actually good. I had a lot of tabs open, but I was like, you know what, I have to keep it short. So let me see. Shout out to everybody coming in the building. Let me switch back to the picture that I had earlier. Hold on 1 second, guys. Yeah, this one. Yeah, let me switch up. Let me drop the StreamYard link in the chat for those of you who want to come up. You're welcome to. But yeah, there you have it. I know it's a interesting topic that most people won't want to touch. So, what do you guys think? What do you have to say? I would like to hear your opinion. Let me drop in the chat and let me shout the people up in the building. All right, Gabe A. How you doing, bro? I knew you were gonna be here. I made this not specifically for you, but for two people in particular, but you were one of them. I knew you had to come in. Peace to brother Dale Hess. We'll come to you. And brother D Rock. I see he gave his answer. New, brother New. I see you. I see you. I hope what I talked about was interesting. Hey, Mahogany. Yeah, Mwanamboka. Glody. Welcome. Yes. Uh-huh. Yes, yes. The unspecialist. I see you, bro. I see you. What's going on? Sheila, I see you in the building. Welcome, welcome. All right. Hey, Million Global, welcome to the building, man. Happy New Year. I hope everything is well over there on your end. So, what is your answer, people? What is your answer to the question? Do you have an answer or you don't have? You just want to talk about it? You have any questions? Here's the floor. You're welcome to jump on the panel. I think this topic, I hope it made you think and, you know, just have a train of thoughts when it comes to this subject, because it is it is a I'll say it's a very sensitive topic, because all of us, we were brought up in we were born to parents. Some were in union, though there will be what you call marriage according to what society describes. Some people, they're in marriage according to their own way that's not accepted. So the question is, what do you think? Do you think marriage is satanic and evil, especially in our modern time, how society has established it? Would you participate on it? Some people have, and then if you look back, you're like, "Well, I've done it any other way. Maybe I learned my lesson. I'll do it different if I had the chance." And for those who haven't done it, it'd be like, "Should I do it? Is it worthy? Is it worthy of my time? Do I have to go through all this system to find a helpmeet, or do I have to do it my own way? Or make up my own rules?" You decide. Whatever you want to do. And like I told you guys earlier, the foundation of marriage is the man, regardless of any religion, regardless of any society. At the end of the day, the man is the cornerstone of what you call marriage. But now we're living in a time where there's a blurring of the lines. People don't respect the oath, right? Because if you look, let's say if people looked at marriage as a business contract, because it is, if the if one party doesn't respect the contract, the contract becomes null and void, right? So the benefit that both were receiving will be no more. So what if everybody looked at marriage as a contract, like an employee in a relationship between a boss and an employer, right? You'd be like, hey, what are you willing to offer to this company? This. Here are the rules. I'll pay you this and this. You're gonna be working Monday to Friday, and if I need, basically, just like the relationship between an employee and a employer. What if people looked at it this way in our society? Will marriage be the way it is right now? So these are some of the questions that I'm sure a lot of you out there listening uh have in your mind. So shout out to brother Bitcoin. Hey, I'm wondering, do you have any Bitcoins? Hey, I do have some stock in Bitcoin. Guess what? I can only afford $200. I can afford $40,000. I can only buy crumbs. Shout out to you, boo. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're drinking your B1 juice every day. Marry a woman that's get to the chopper. Get to the chopper. Let's see it. Brother Million Global, he said he has a question. He says, so in the Bible, he says the woman can remarry if she separates, only if he dies. Is this right? Yes. According to the biblical law, when it comes to marriage, the way Moses received it. Remember, marriage, like I say, the foundation is the man, the man. But at the same time, even in the law, it say that a man cannot divorce his wife just because he feel like it. Because remember, it's a contract, and if he dishonor basically he breaks his contract in order for his wife to be to not bring shame to her family. If the elders of the people, right, because remember when they came in the marriage, it was two families coming together. If the family realize that this man, he's doing it, you know, to break his contract and trying to bring shame, they will chastise him, meaning that, hey, what you doing? You have no reason to do what you're doing. And if he's stubborn and all that, then he's gonna have to pay a fine. And not only that, in ancient time, the dowry used to be the family of the woman giving the husband wealth for the daughter to be like, hey, we're giving you this for our daughter so you could take care of her. And if the man breaks his contract, guess what will happen? The daughter will now return to her parents empty-handed. She's gonna return with all the stuff that his parents gave it to the man. And if you look at it, the only people who could do that were what? The wealthy. So when it comes to society, even things like marriage were considered mostly for the people who were up in society, and the people, what they call the low class. They had to, even if they practice the way of marriage, they had to do it in a way they could afford. Like, you can be a poor family requesting a poor man in your class, be like, hey, I want 10 goats, and this guy can't even afford a chicken. So people were reasonable when it comes to all that stuff. And because the man does the marrying, a poor young woman will feel so lucky to have an upper class man choose her as his helpmeet to come into his fold to help him with his future. So I know the topic of marriage is very sensitive, and that's why I noticed nobody wants to come up yet. Don't be scared. Don't be chicken. You know, come on up. Come on up. Come on up. So, all right. Looks like I've hit the 1 hour mark. 1 hour mark. And for those of you who know me so well, you notice I didn't go hard like I would. What do you guys think? Do you think I should do a topic on nah, never mind. YouTube is gonna be like, you sending misinformation. Strike. I already have one strike on my channel. So 3 strikes, you're out. You're out. You're out. What's up, Shirley? Little Shirley. Hey, how you doing? Welcome to the building. You missed a fun topic. Right now, basically, I'm giving people a few minutes. I know some people would like to jump on the panel and discuss this, but if not, I'll probably just end this and say thank you very much for stopping by. And you know, maybe in the comment section, if you wanted to say what you wanted to say, you're welcome to. I know it's the weekend. Some of you out there are, ready to party and you know, drinking that MAGA juice, make America great again juice. That's the juice that's popular right now. It's, you better get it before it runs out. This is the juice of the year, MAGA juice. MAGA juice is life. MAGA juice is life. mm. So, all right. I gave people about 5 minutes since nobody wants to come up. Everybody's scared. I know this is a hot topic. So I'll have to bid you all adieu. And make sure to leave a comment. For those of you who are shy, if you want to say anything else, feel free to leave in the comments. But I know some people will, wait, fasting, what is your answer? I'm like, well, this is not a particular question that can really be answered. But if I have to give you an answer biblically, I'll say the biblical marriage is right. How, if you have